Welcome back to George Washington's Rules of Civility, Decent Behavior in Company and Conversation. We're almost halfway through this book, learning, and again, raising your leadership bar, right? Think of your leadership bar. How do I raise it? How do I know more? I remember Charlie Kirk saying, people know a lot, but wisdom is understanding of things that never change. And that's why older people are so wise, because pain and suffering create a lot of experience and create a lot of knowledge, therefore wisdom. So I think that's why this is one of the reasons why George Washington's book here is it's so appeasing to my soul just reading it. And I like reading it because every time I'm recording this, I learn so much. So we're up to Rule 42 out of 100-ish. So let's go with it. Let thy ceremonies be in courtesy. So let thy ceremonies in courtesy be proper to the dignity of his place, with whom thou converses, for it is absurd to act the same with a clown and a prince. Okay, so in regular English, this would mean like there's a time and a place for everything. You've ever been around somebody that maybe makes an inappropriate joke at the wrong place and you are a little embarrassed because you maybe come with that person? I've been that person before. And it's embarrassing not just for yourself, but for other people that are next to you. And it's basically giving you the analogy of, if you're in a party and maybe there's clowns, or there's like a birthday, a child's birthday, and there's a gathering. It's a different, like, you can be funny, you can have fun, you can crack a joke, you can laughter. All of this is different than if you are, here it says a prince, and in the presence, or in a maybe more appropriate event, maybe in a professional event. Maybe you're around the President of the United States. Maybe you are around someone of high importance, of high leverage, and that wouldn't be a place in which you would act the same. So this is just George Washington's way of saying, the ceremony should dictate the dignity, and maybe the conversations, the jokes. There is a time and a place for everything. And you have to raise your awareness to realize, when is it okay to do this? When is it okay to say that? There is times in which it's not okay to say some things, correct? 43, do not express joy before one sick or in pain, for that contrary passion will aggravate his or her misery. And again, it sounds like common sense, but we've all been somewhere where maybe somebody's sick, not feeling the best, and I am almost like very, very happy. It doesn't feel right. Now, I'm not saying, or he's not saying, don't be happy when somebody else is sick. It just, again, it's awareness. If I walk into a room and somebody's maybe in a hospital bed, and I receive a letter of like, I just got accepted into college, or I got approved a loan, or my car got approved, good news, I might not want to start jumping and celebrating in front of a person that's, that can't move because they just went through a car accident. So just giving you an example, but again, it doesn't help to express joy. It is not the most polite to express happiness, joy, or just laughter in front of somebody that is in pain or somebody that is sick. And you're like, well, Richard, that means I can't express, like I can't be happy if somebody else is sick? Yes, exactly what I'm saying. In the presence of. Like, whoa, that is not fair because that means I gotta. Yes, it does. It does mean you have to think about somebody else before you think of yourself. That's exactly what it means. And that's why it's rules of civility and decent behavior. Okay, rule number 44. When a man does all he can, though it succeeds not well, blame not him that did it. Okay, in English, when a man tries as hard as he can and it does not work, don't blame him that did it. So I'm not saying help somebody make an excuse. That's not what it means. It's when somebody understands that I've tried my hardest. Let's say I've been trying to pass the bar and I'm studying for law school and I'm really trying hard for months, studying, nights, drinking coffee, staying up, really trying hard, and I don't pass the bar. You coming in and saying, Richard, well, this is your fault. Although it is true, it's not the most polite thing to say. All it says is, hey, when somebody tries their hardest, if the tank of effort empties, you don't want to just show up and blame them. Although they are at blame, what I'm talking about is it isn't nice to say that. They already know this. So you want to maybe comfort them or help them or say something nice. You don't have to create an excuse. You can just be like, hey, look, next time we'll have different luck. Versus saying, well, I mean, hey, you failed. It's your fault. Although that is true. It isn't nice to say. That's all we're talking about. Okay, that's rule number 44. 45. Being to advise or reprehend anyone, consider whether it ought to be in public or in private, presently or at a time or at some other time. In what terms to do it? In reproving, show no sign of choler, but do it with all sweetness and mildness. Okay? In 2025 English, this just means if you're going to have to speak to somebody, give somebody a piece of feedback, or correct somebody maybe it could be your child, your friend, it could be your family member, it could be anyone. If you're about to have a conversation, a crucial conversation, a talk with somebody about correcting a behavior, it talks about, hey, does it have to be in public? Majority of the times, if you can accomplish something in private that you can also accomplish in public, always do it in private because it helps that person understand better. Not only it's more polite, but your feedback will be delivered better and differently. If you can do it in private, do it in private. There's no need to do it in public. It also says in what terms to do it. Do I have to address it now? For example, in marriage, I could have 3 or 4 issues that I want to address with my wife, something that we might disagree. It doesn't have to be done right now. And that's also growing in marriage. Growing in your relationships means not every problem, because I have a problem, it's got to be fixed right now. That's usually selfish because maybe the other person needs time. Maybe the time of place, going back to rule number 42, maybe it isn't the time of place. And all it takes is for you to calm down, swallow your ego a little bit, and wait. And be able to be joyful and happy, although there's an issue, and wait until a better time. Okay? What terms to do it? And reproving, show no sign of choler or angriness, okay? Being angry, do it with all sweetness and mildness. And this is at 32 years old, this is very hard because I try my hardest. I get mentored. I'm angry a lot to somebody because they do something wrong. I want to correct it and fix it on the spot because that is what pleases me. And that's what I think is right. However, there is a time and place for everything. And especially not doing it with choler, which is with like not doing it angry, but also calming down, being mad at something, but then using a sweet and mild tone. That's difficult. That takes a lot of self-control. And that's why this is difficult and so important. And also deciding when to do it. What's the time of day? Okay, very important. Rule 45, lots of growth there. Rule 46, take all admonitions. Admonitions is advice, okay? Or maybe recommendations, advice or recommendations would be the word. Take all admonitions thankfully, in what time or place soever given, but afterwards, not being culpable, take a time and place convenient to let him know it that gave them, okay? So it talks about every time you receive a piece of advice, whether you ask or not, there's plenty of people out there that offer advice unsolicitedly. You don't ask, they offer. Usually family members, people that care for us a lot. Their way of showing this sometimes is very unaware. They offer advice. They can't tell you the amount of times I've gotten advice, career advice from people whose career I'd never want to imitate, or relationship advice from people whose relationship I would never want to copy. Plenty of times. However, all it says here is take all of them thankfully. Every time somebody offers a piece of advice, even if like that's that's not good, like I want to call them out on it. Although that might sound that's very witty to call him out on it. It sounds intelligent. George Washington says, always be thankful. No matter the time and place, appreciate the advice. Even if you're not going to use it, even if you know it's bad, just be thankful because there's always a time and place convenient to talk to them about it. Hey, what you talked to me earlier, really appreciated. I don't think this might apply to me. Or what you talked to me earlier about, even I didn't ask you for that advice, I really appreciate it and it helped me a lot. Sorry I couldn't thank you enough at the time because I was busy at so-and-so, I was at this other place in time. So hopefully that makes sense. take all advice, thankfully, and then find a convenient time and place to address it with the person that gave it. Hopefully this helps, guys. Rules of civility. Next week, we'll be hitting, I think, the mid-mark from rules 47 to 52. Maybe that is the chapter right before the mid-mark, since there's 110. But hopefully this helps, guys, and we'll see you at the next one.